Yo, it's your bro, Bleem today. We're about to do yet another My Hero What If. This is what if Deku had an illusion quirk. This would all start off with Deku being told that he has an illusion quirk, pretty much making things, be an illusion. So Deku, for then, would basically train. He would still get kind of bullied because you can't really do much with it. Deku would train for 10 years with his quirk in martial arts. So Deku is a martial arts black belt. So Deku would be pretty strong. He would already be able to handle one for all, which I am going to give him because illusions are not gonna beat anybody. So Deku is basically pretty much gonna be walking through the tunnel after the whole incident where the teacher said that Deku and Bakugo applied to UA. It pretty much happened the same. So yeah, now he's walking through the tunnel as a sludge villain would pretty much attack him now. He would see it, but he would just do an illusion that can basically illusion that there's like glass between the two of him and the sludge villain. So now the sludge villain is trying to go throughout the other end to come to Deku. That would make All Might be able to get the sludge villain a lot faster and easier. And he would thank Deku and he would ask him what was his quirk because there was nothing that could have stopped him from basically trying to attack you. Deku would explain how his quirk is, or what it is, and how it works. And All Might would basically give him an autograph with the phone number at the bottom. Deku wouldn't notice it as soon as he saw All Might's autograph. But as he was walking home, he would hear it. Well, you wouldn't actually hear the explosion because he didn't jump on All Might. So yeah. So as Deku's pretty much walking home, he got caught lacking by All Might. So All Might pretty much asked him if he want to get one for all, and Deku just say yeah because there's not really much he can do. He really wants to become a hero, and he has no faith in his powers, but he knows that his powers are limited to, illusions. So Deku would just basically get one for all right then and there because he actually did train in martial arts. So Deku will be using one for all in his full body right off the bat because Deku is not dumb. You train in martial arts, you're gonna have to use your feet and your hands. So Deku would just use one for all in his full body. So Deku would pretty much like a lot of his moves would be in martial arts. So with him already having enhanced strength, like he's already most likely stronger than any other teenagers. But with him having enhanced strength by All Might quirk, he will just pretty much be he'll be able to beat most people because not everybody's gonna be trained in martial arts. So as Deku trains for the 10 months to get a good percentage of one for all, about 35%. Because Deku, and plus his illusions got better too. They got stronger because of one for all. So Deku, he felt like the man when he's going to the entrance exam. So he don't trip and he don't meet Uraraka that way. So as Deku would go to the written exam, he would do the written exam, and Deku, he's smart, so he would be able to do it. And he would go to the explanation for the robot exam as he would understand, and he would already have a plan as soon as he was about to leave. So Deku was already strapped up. So Deku, once he got to the gate, he didn't get to talk to Uraraka because he never met her. So Deku would basically all he would do would just be, thinking about how he's gonna execute the plan. As he's kind of mumbling, well, Ida would try to, tell him to shut up. You're making people pay attention to you. But that when the gate would open and Deku would just speed off. Him being faster than Ida, because 20% Deku is faster than Ida, which is kind of sad. So Deku would pretty much pass right by him, as he would destroy multiple robots, and he's pretty much he's literally using his shoot style and he's using his fist. So he pretty much he's pretty much okay. So this is what he did. He was running at a robot, and basically he did a half of a flip, flip to hit the ground with his hands to basically push him up. And when he pushed up with one for all, so his feet would basically go right through the robot, and he would grab on the robot, swing straight off of it, and go to a different robot, and keep on using different moves to basically destroy it. As multiple people were seeing how he's moving, like he's fucking crazy, bro. He's easily racked up at least 78 points. So Deku, he's catching his breath. He's calming down. As he would hear the ground rumbling, or he would feel it. So as he would feel that, he was like, "Oh, what is?" As he would look up, and he would see, the zero pointer emerge from the ground. So he was like, "Oh, okay." So people are running. Okay, I might as well just run too. It's just an obstacle. As that fight is pretty much being fought, he hears a scream. So that fight just goes straight out the window. So he's going the exact opposite way. So people's like, "What is this kid doing?" And even a couple of other people in the crowd are telling him, "Oh, kid, come back. You have enough points. It's a zero pointer." And Deku would basically make the illusion of clones of himself. So they would all just run up, and if something, and basically making the illusion of clones of himself. But since how really strong, have you ever seen the Spider-Man movie, the newest one, Far From Home? You know how the bad guy in that movie, I forgot his name, but the bad guy in that movie, you know how all the villains were pretty much fake? They were just holograms, but they could still hit. That's how Deku's clones work. They're fake, but they can still hit somehow. So they're pretty much beating the fuck out of this robot, as they would all jump off, and they would all just basically disappear, as only one would be there, and that's really Deku. Deku would basically lift the rock off, and he would basically just, get Uraraka. They would introduce themselves as, she would get healed by Recovery Girl, and Deku is pretty much walking out of that situation, as Uraraka goes to talk to him again and say thank you. So yeah, he says it's no problem, and he gets home and he goes to sleep. Days later, he would realize that oh yeah, I got in. So Deku would go to school the next day, as he would be like, "Yep, this is it. I finally did it." So Deku, he pretty proud of himself. So he pretty much is gonna go to UA once he's in the building, he's pretty much looking for he's looking for bro the room. He's looking for 1A, so he's pretty much looking for it, and he would eventually find it. So yeah, he'd open the door, and all he can hear when he just creaks the door open is arguing, and it don't make Deku feel any better about going in this room. So he just opens the door and uses one for all to speed to his desk. So, Ida don't get to talk to him, and, Uraraka would just say hi. He would say hi, and, that's when Aizawa would pretty much say, "Oh, if you're here to make friends, you better dip. You better be gone. Be gone." So, so as he pretty much tells them to go outside as to do the fucking exam. I don't know why that exam even existed. Aizawa is a teacher. He should have been there at the entrance exam. He had to be there because he knew that Deku broke his arms. Okay, never mind. But, he would hand the ball to Deku, and he says, "You got the highest score, so yeah." And, this would anger Bakugo, and this would make Todoroki have an interest in Deku because, well, he got the highest score, and he want to be the number one person, like All Might. So he wants to be All Might. So Deku would take the ball, and he would throw it with 35% of one for all. Okay, getting a high score. But since he has illusion quirk, he can basically make that the score go up by any number. So he just made it go up to infinity, and he's faster than everybody else, so he would get first place on that, no cap. I guess he's stronger because, yeah, I'm just gonna say he's stronger than everybody. And yeah, he can just continue on to get first place, and even if he's not actually stronger or faster, or he can just change the numbers with his illusion quirk. So Deku can basically do whatever he wants in that test. So Deku pretty much gets first place and everything. And instead of Jiro pretty much saying that his quirk is kind of like All Might's right, like before, she says it now, so it makes Todoroki want to beat him even more. So when they do get to the next day of them doing regular stuff, All Might would pretty much walk in, everybody happy. "Oh, shoot, it's All Might, he got the drip on. Oh, it's All Might." So, people will be happy that it's All Might there. So All Might would basically do some hero versus villains training, and he would explain it. And Deku would be happy to try to use his powers. And he would get matched up with Uraraka versus Todoroki and Bakugo. He doesn't really worry about Bakugo because he knows how Bakugo is going to be. So, yeah, he pretty much tells Uraraka the plan that when Bakugo comes, he's gonna make them both invisible. So he's just gonna be looking all around while we can just go up the stairs and you can literally, make Todoroki float. So even if he did hear us, or he really can't do anything. So, they would just run right past Bakugo, as Bakugo would just hear the footsteps. So he would throw an AP shot right in the hallway where they weren't fast enough. Because Deku wasn't even using one for all, so Deku was like, "Oh shit." So he would just push Uraraka out the way, as, he would get hit by it. So his, invisibility would be disabled for now. So he would have this little, fight with Bakugo, because, yeah, something has to happen right here. So he would just pull up, or Bakugo would basically just pull up right on Deku, grab his shirt, and they're trying to punch him. And as Deku will pretty much make clones of himself, which can hit, but they're not tangible, so it's just fucking bootlegging him. So right now, he's just back to back hitting Bakugo, and Bakugo's just throwing explosions at random places, cause bro, he's getting bodied. So yeah, there's people in class 1A pretty much laughing at this man at this point. I mean, it's almost like funny how much hits Deku has gotten in at this point. Like physically, Deku has punched him like probably at least 60 times. And this man's is totally done. Bakugo, he's still trying to keep himself all together. But it's over for him. It's over for him. He gets bodied. He falls on the floor trying to do that last explosion. He would just he would just be caught by Deku. So now he can't talk or move. So he just left Todoroki to be a one-man squad. So as Uraraka is pretty much trying to deal with Todoroki. Todoroki being pretty much, she made herself float. But I don't think she can make two things float. But she would try it, and she would try to make Todoroki float too. But it didn't work out too good. So her invisibility would still be there, but she wouldn't float. It would just be Todoroki. So now when he would hear the footsteps, he would just put this ice wall around the rocket. So Deku would come up the stairs. He would see what was going on, and Todoroki would have full attention on Deku, because he doesn't even know if Uraraka is even still in here. Right? Even if he was, maybe he's hearing things. So he has full intentions on pretty much trying to beat Deku. As he's not floating anymore, so he doesn't think Uraraka is here. And Uraraka, being invisible, would just float up over the ice and touch the bomb, as they would get first place. Deku would basically be like, well, we did it. As the invisibility would go away, as they would pretty much celebrate that they won. Days later, they would get told about the UA entries, about the USJ. So yeah, they're on the bus and they're talking about quirks, and they get to Deku. He tells them how the quirks work, or how One for All works. Cause yeah. So they get to the USJ and shit goes down. Pretty much they're getting explained how quirks can be really dangerous, as a portal would open and villains would come out and separate people. It would be Deku, Floppy, and Mineta, and they would just do the same plan they always do. Deku would just jump towards the water and do a finger smash, keeping him up in the air. As Mineta would throw the purple balls down, and Deku would do the finger smash to basically knock him out, and Floppy would basically throw him to shore with her tongue, as he would be wrapped into the fight with Aizawa versus the Nomu, as he's not doing too well either. So he's fighting other villains. So are people like Bakugo and Todoroki and other people. As All Might would come and have this little brawl with the Nomu, pretty much going back and forth with 300 punches. He would go beyond plus ultra, bring him down to at least 1 hour, which is kind of sad. Pretty much, almost disable him from even using his quirk. Deku would see that he was smoking up after, he pretty much destroyed the Nomu. So he's like, okay. So him and a couple of other people who know about it, like staff, basically bring All Might away from the kids as the kids are recuperating and pretty much thinking about how that just happened. So Deku would basically have this quick little talk with All Might about he how he only has 1 hour left and it's not gonna be good for him. And Deku thinks that, damn, we're just gonna have to stop like any major fight. So not like it's already bad enough that he can't be a hero, but now he can barely even be a teacher for an hour. So Deku thinking like, dang, I gotta become a hero fast. I'm still only in my first year, and already days in, he's already losing like too much power. And I haven't even mastered like 40% of One for All yet. So everything kind of looking down for Deku right now. So yeah, he says bye to All Might as he would pretty much go home and he would train a lot. Yeah, so he's training a lot because, he knows that he has to at least master 40% before All Might pretty much doesn't be a hero. So as they would pretty much, come back to school from that little incident, yeah, they get told about the sports festival, and yeah, Deku and them, they're pretty much being told about the sports festival, and days later, they're there, and Deku goes up on the podium to basically give his speech. Deku goes up and he says, well, I hope you all try your best. You have to make sure to go plus ultra and always be the best. I don't know. Yeah, so you would say that people would be happy, they'd be clapping for him. And yeah, you would just move on to the race. Deku would just get first place. Again, there's no reason for me to not give him. In a cavalry battle, he wouldn't get his headband stolen because he's just that good. He would just make an illusion to make his headband disappear. So Deku would basically get first place on that too. And as soon as Shinzo would pretty much walk up, he would just use an illusion that Shinzo already got beat up. Like he got like broken arms and all that stuff. So he would just walk out like a couple of seconds after he walked in. So yeah, he would just continue on to get first place in there, and he beat Shinzo. And other matches would happen, all that good stuff. So yeah, Deku, he's a little different than, because his quirk, or at least his original one, like he don't let him. People don't think he'd become a hero with it. It's just a dumb quirk. But it like it has to be. It has to like only work in some type of situation. Like, so it doesn't really work in other situations. But that's where I'm gonna leave this one off. Yeah. So bye.